Hello, and welcome to the Strategy Game Butt Kicker channel. I'm your host, Strategy Game Butt Kicker. First name Strategy, middle name Game, last name Butt Kicker. It's hyphenated. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be playing a game called Europa Universalis, or Universalis, or however you want to pronounce it. Just to let you know, if you're here because you normally have been watching me playing Conflict of Nations, which is another strategy game, I will be continuing with that. Now, back to this game. This is Europa Universalis. It is also a war strategy game. It's set from the end of the Middle Ages, late Middle Ages, and it ends up in the early modern period. It's in like the 1820s, I believe, is when it ends. So we have a few hundred years to just try to gain as much territory as possible. There are lots of countries in this world. Now we're playing in like the Germanic region of Europe, Germanic Central Europe. We're playing as a dinky little country called Nassau. Now there are lots of different, not only lots of different nations, but lots of different kinds of governments in this game. Lots of different cultures, different religions. We will be playing as a Catholic country in what is now modern Germany. I often still, after almost 2,000 hours of playing this game, I often still get my own butt kicked. I lose more often than I win, typically because I just become too anxious to take on challenges, and I wind up stepping in too deep. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some rivals. Now, I already have some countries that have become rivals to me, or who have chosen me as rivals, I should say. So there's Aachen, Frankfurt, and Mainz. Now, Mainz could be a useful one. Frankfurt, well, that could be too. But it's Frankfurt and Aachen, too, are what are called in the game free cities, which means that their freedom, their status as a free city, has been guaranteed by Austria, which is the head of the Holy Roman Empire. It's a very powerful country, and we're a dinky thing here, so we really don't want to make Austria too mad at us. So we're probably not going to go out of our way to pick up any free cities yet. There are some ways to do that. So, for example, we can look and see they don't yet have any allies that will pick up allies. And we can sometimes use their allies to get to them. But to start with, I don't think we're going to do that. So I'm going to go back to my own country here. And Mainz already considers us to be a rival. So we're going to go ahead and select Mainz as a rival. I would like to pick up Cologne here. Let's see what Trier thinks of us. Trier likes us, and Cologne likes us too. So Berg likes us a little bit. I'm gonna choose Berg and Cologne as rivals. Now, some of these, like Berg, probably I'm gonna take some territory. For Cologne, I might actually like to make them a vassal. I like to do vassals. Vassals are good because they contribute less to something called aggressive expansion. That's when your neighbors get mad at you because you're taking over countries too quickly. And they contribute money, they contribute military. So I like to have vassals. So I'm probably going to make a vassal out of one of these two countries here. All right, now I also notice over here that I have a free merchant, which I don't want. I want to send my merchant somewhere. So I'm probably going to send that merchant here to Wien, which will give us, I don't know, 1 or 2 pieces of gold. I think they're called ducats. That's money. So we're going to get a little bit more money going here. That's not money. That is our military power. This is our money. We're getting a little bit more money. And I am also, this is something that really got me into trouble when I was first playing this game, because I didn't realize that this was necessary. I am going to take some covert action. I'm going to build a spy network against both Berg and Cologne. And that's going to allow me, in a few months, in-game months, not real months. This game does not take real months. in a few in-game months to fabricate claims against them. And that allows us to have something called, and I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, like a casus belli or casus belli or casus belli or something like that. It essentially means an excuse to attack them. And that's something that I went without to start with, and I wound up getting in so much trouble, because if you attack somebody without a casus whatever thing, your neighbors will get really upset with you and they'll all attack you. So we need to have at least an excuse to attack these countries. So we're going to start building up a spy network. I am going to increase the speed of time passage. And for your enjoyment, I'm going to be increasing it even more for you through some of this. We'll get into slow periods. All right. It is also worth noting that the way you scroll is not by grabbing and dragging it, clicking and dragging, which is what I try to do sometimes, but instead it is by simply moving your cursor over to the corner, the edge of the screen, and you get to move around. All right. So now I'm going back to the screen, and I am going to reduce my army maintenance, which is very important for a couple of reasons. One, mainly the reason I'm going to do that is because I am about to build a lot of army. I'm going to max out my army here, which is going to help me to take over these countries. Now, because I'm going over my limit, it's going to become very expensive. You have a limit as far as the number of troops you can get. It depends on the size of your nation and whether you have vassals. Yet another benefit to having a vassal, because having a vassal gives you an extra slot for military. But so our limit is actually 7, and we're going to be up to 9, and that's going to cost us a lot of money. So that's why I've decreased military spending. All right, and now I wait. All right, so what do we have here? I'm going to pause it. We have a mission fulfilled. And that is, we have built our force to the limit. That's really useful because it gives us increased morale of armies, meaning that's essentially like the health points of our armies, and land maintenance modifier, so we're paying less money. So we want to keep an eye out for that. Also, and this is pretty cool, Trier is suggesting an alliance, and we are definitely going to take that. We want alliances. Sorry about my chair squeaking, by the way. It does that all the time. We want alliances. So we're going to take Trier's alliance. That's going to help us to take over some other countries. Also, I should mention, this is the vanilla version of the game. If you go to Steam and you buy this game, you will be getting the exact same version that I am playing right here. There are a bunch of DLCs. There's a bunch of additional content you can add to the game, but we're not doing that here. We are just playing the vanilla version of the game because, for one thing, it's nice to have a little bit of a tutorial, a little bit of a run-through of what you're going to have if you just play the game you buy, rather than spending extra money to get all the expansions. And because I'm cheap. All right, so here we go, and we're going to continue until these are close to 30. Once these get close to 30, that's how many points I need. And it's different for different parts of the world. Here in the Holy Roman Empire, which we are, we need at least 30 points to make a claim on a neighboring province. All right, now we have gotten up to almost 26 here, close to 26 here, so it's not going to be, it's just going to be a few months before we're there. And I want to make sure, before I increase spending, I want to make sure I can actually, okay, so Cologne is only friends with Cleves. That's cool. And Berg is only friends with Frankfurt. Now that's very interesting. Because that means I could attack Berg and take over Frankfurt as well and have that land. Frankfurt, because it's a free city, and because I'm not including it as a co-belligerent in the war, which would mean that Austria would get involved, that means it's going to cost a lot of aggressive expansion to take over. But it is right there. It's a valuable city. Let's take a look at the city of Frankfurt. So, yeah, it makes paper. It's an inland center of trade, so that's a great place to have. There's a lot of money there. It's a good place to have. So I might actually go after Berg and just snatch up Frankfurt too, understanding that it's going to be expensive. And then I'll probably just take like Berg, the one city, and Frankfurt, and the next time I'll take over Cologne. I think it's probably what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm going to turn up my money here. I'm going to start spending. I'm going to start bleeding money through my nose, and that means we're going to start taking a bunch of loans. And taking loans is just part of playing the game. You kind of need to. But it's not like taking loans in the real world, like you take loans for your education in the United States, and then you can't pay them back. Usually you can pay these back. It may take a little while, but if you're successful, especially if it's a fairly quick war, you can get money from your enemies and make them pay for your war for you. So it's kind of nice. But we're going to get that going, and this is going to start racking up the costs. All right, so actually I'll let it go a little bit over. That's okay. Just sitting here thinking, trying to decide what I'm going to do. So let me grab Cologne here. Okay, so they have Frankfurt too. Ooh, okay. But that's not going to work out. That's not going to work out. All right, so we're going to fabricate a claim against Cologne. And then we're going to stop building a spy network. And then go over to Berg here. All right, they still are only friends with Frankfurt. So that kind of makes up my mind for me. We're only going to be fighting 2 instead of more. And I really would like to vassalize Cologne. So I think we are going to hit Berg first. So an important thing to note is we have just fabricated claims against these 2 countries. But that doesn't mean we have claims against them yet. We have to wait for the notification. Stop building my spy network. We have to wait for the notification. If we were to declare right now, it would say that we were attacking without a casus belli, whatever. Or because it's a rival, it would just take rivalry as a casus whatever. And the rivalry casus whatever does not allow you to take territory. We need conquest to be our thing. All right. So we need a general. Now, there are a couple of options. We can recruit a general. It uses up this military power. I don't want to use that right now. So I'm going to check out what my king is capable of. And the king actually looks pretty good. Now, there are downsides to using your king as a general. It can reduce your stability if the king dies in battle, but I'm not worried about that right now. I am going to wait another month, however, to allow my army to come to full power. So in March, we're going to attack. All right, I'm sorry, in May, we're going to attack. All right, and so we're ready. Hopefully Berg. All right, so Frankfurt. Now, I forgot to declare war. I'm too busy talking, running my mouth. All right. And we are going to call our allies into the war with us. Come on, Trier. Let's take some land. All right. I'm just going to pop right on up here. All right, so we're already at minus 28. So when it's a minus number, you're not going to take the castle in that turn. You have to wait until it's a positive number. And the game sometimes has these little cheats that it uses to make things take a little bit longer, to be a little bit more difficult for you. So sometimes you get stuck. Like it'll hit 49. That your probability of taking the castle is at 49%, and it'll just keep hitting 49% over and over again. So hopefully it'll be soon, and then we can hop down and grab Frankfurt. I'm looking forward to getting Frankfurt. It has my my world-conquering mouth salivating, thinking about grabbing Frankfurt. Yeah. Even the chair is happy about that. Hear it squeaking with joy. All right, we have won the siege of Berg, and our ally is about to hit some troops from Berg, and we are about to go down here and snatch up Frankfurt. Yeah. Now we could pop over here and grab another general. We'll be spending military power, which I really don't want to do. But we have this level 3 fort. It's going to take forever. All right, so no siege there. Sucky general. All right. And we have actually a pretty good general here. So let's pop on back in. Has a little bit of siege ability. And that's going to take this number down a little bit. So it went from 49 to 42. So that should speed it up a little. And I'm going to speed it up for you. All right. So now we have taken over Frankfurt. And we're going to sue for peace. And we are going to try to actually get the city of Frankfurt. All right, and that is going to give us 39.9 aggressive expansion. That's a lot. All right, but we're going to take it, and they're also going to give us 45 pieces of gold, and that's going to help us. We're not going to take any more loans for a little while, I think. All right, so we're going to send that demand. And they're going to say, okay. And now the next thing I want to do here is make that a core. As quickly as possible. It'll cost us a lot less. It'll start making us some money once we've made it a core. Now, let's see what our aggressive expansion is going to be if we take Berg now. We're going to have a handful of countries that want to form a coalition against us. This little thing down here, that's your coalition symbol. And that tells you how many countries are going to want to form a coalition. Now, the highest is 52. You lose aggressive expansion at like 2.5, something like that per year. So, it is now April. I am going to wait until the end of the year to ask Berg to give me Berg. And that should take away this coalition. Now, it means we won't be fighting anybody for a little while. But that's typically the case anyway. And out of doing that, we got kind of an awesome city down here. And we're going to get Berg, which is not too bad. But this is going to add a lot to our wealth and stuff. And we're going to wait until the end of the year and then take over Berg. And we're going to get them to give us some money too. Because that's all part of it. You want more money. And our aggressive expansion shouldn't be enough to make other countries join a coalition against us. This is Austria demanding that we give Frankfurt back. And we'll have increased unrest. Local unrest will be an additional 10. A third less in taxes. Half the manpower. And monthly autonomy change is going to be going in the wrong direction. Because we're going to have this unlawful territory. Now, anytime you take another country, whether you have a casus, whatever or not, it's deemed to be unlawful territory, and it hurts your status with both the leader of the Holy Roman Empire and with all of the other nations within it. But we're going to hit decline. If we hit accept, we're going to lose that province, and we don't want that. We want to keep that city. So we're going to hit decline and let the other countries not like us. All right, and the year has changed. Let's just pause it here and take a look at our diplomacy and see there is no coalition. All right, so we're going to take Berg. What would happen if we said Nassau vassal? We'd get into a lot of trouble. All right, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to take Berg and say, all right, and give us a lot of money. We want the money. And humiliate. Humiliation of a rival means that we get a bunch of power projection. Now, if your power projection gets over 50, then you get more of these monarch points, which are useful for so many things. They increase, you use these to buy new technology and do different things within your nation. So these are awesome, like the military ones. You know, you buy generals and stuff. These are awesome to have. So by humiliating our rival here, we're gonna get a little extra. All right. Send demand. And we now have Berg and Frankfurt. That's a pretty good deal. And now we have to wait. Because, like, if we look here, our aggressive expansion with Cologne is 49. Now, 50. Any country that has more than 50 aggressive expansion on us, they're going to want to join a coalition. And they can declare on you, or if you wind up declaring on them, then everybody else in the coalition, which can be large numbers of other countries, will wind up coming and kicking your butt. There have been a couple of times that I've actually won against coalitions, but it does not happen very often. So at this point, we're just going to sit back. There is a lot of waiting with this game. It's one of the things, I think I said this earlier, it's one of the things that I don't really care for, that there's too much just kind of sitting and waiting. Though if you have other things to do while you play, that can be okay. All right, and I'm going to partially decrease the strength of my army here because we're going through money pretty fast. And having a strong army is definitely useful. It'll help to keep the revolts down, especially here in Frankfurt, where I have the army parked. But we're also going through money pretty fast. Thank you, motorcycle. All right, so let's take a look at what our aggressive expansion is here. Because that will change, as it says, 2.1 yearly. So we have a few more years to wait before we can start looking at taking on other countries. All right, let's see what our accomplishment is. And it is to have a high income. Construction costs are going to be reduced. That doesn't really help us right now. And we can now expand our diplomacy. We'll be able to build a marketplace if we had money. Morale of armies minus 5%. No! Means our armies fight a little bit less effectively, but that doesn't matter because we're still going to win. All right, so we have a revolt here. We have them minus 49%. Now these revolts, they tear down the castle a lot faster than you would if you were attacking the castle. That's just always the case. And let's see what they have here. 6-2, and they have, all right, 8-1, and our leader is Our leader kind of compares. It is lower. That's the same. It is the same in maneuverability, which is, let me show you. It's the same in maneuverability, which is that one right there. 2 maneuverability. There's attack, defense, maneuverability, and it's kind of attack and defense. It's phases of battle rather than literally attack and defense. And then 1 there. So we may actually want to add a little guy. So we're going to take another loan. And we're going to add a guy. We can't. We don't have. Okay, we have almost enough to do that. We're going to take another loan. Dang it. All right. So we're going to add a little guy. Give us a little bit better chance of taking these guys. Oh, yeah, and we're also going to increase our maintenance again, our military spending. Start paying through the nose, but that's okay. Because after we've done this, we may be ready to move into our enemy. 39 aggressive expansion. So we'll probably pretty soon be ready to jump back in. This guy is going to have the highest aggressive expansion of anybody because it's right there as our neighbor and it already doesn't like us. So as soon as we have full health to our 10 troops, we are going to jump in there and kill this guy, and then we're going to mothball that fort, and that's going to save us some pretty big money. All right, 1 more month, and we're ready to go. We want it to be at full health. Then we'll spot red there, and not at full health. All right, here we go. Wait a minute, click on it. All right, here we go. Let's get rid of those rebels. Yeah. All right. So now we'll mothball that fort. Save us a little bit of cash there. And let's see if we want to go ahead and pick a battle with, let's check out Munster. With that neighbor. All right, so 33 aggressive expansion with Munster. We'll go ahead and allow the Palatinate to move through our land. All right. So we are going to go ahead and declare war. Let's move these little guys over here. And we're going to unmothball this fort now that we've just mothballed it. But we'll mothball it again later. We're going to go ahead and, take the pain of the prices. And Cologne is still... Cologne now has Cleves and Berg. Interesting. All right, and Cleves just has Cologne. So we're going to make Cleves a co-belligerent. And we're going to declare war on Cologne. So, and Trier is not ready to go with us. Not willing to join another war until 56. Okay, well, we're going to wait. Let's see, what month is that in 56? May 1st, 56. So we have a year to wait. That's a little bit too much for us to take on alone. So we're going to wait until Trier, who only has 4. That's not going to be a great... Let's see who else has a good opinion of us. So where's Berg? They're already at war. Brunswick doesn't like us. Munster doesn't like us. The Palatinate doesn't like us, even though we just let them come through our territory. Let's see, who doesn't like Cologne? And Munster doesn't like Cologne, but Munster doesn't like us. Brunswick doesn't like Cologne. Did we try Brunswick? Braunschweig. All right, no. Nobody wants to be allied with us. We don't have... Lüneburg. Lüneburg will take us. All right, let's offer an alliance to Lüneburg. Declare war. All right, and we have our 2 friends. All right. Hopefully this will be a piece of cake. Jump right. That's not where I want to go. I want to jump right in here. There we go. And everybody can jump in for a big fight it out. All right, and now it's more waiting. I want to take Cleve. And that immediately, that would give us 30 aggressive expansion just to take Cleve. And we don't want that. So we are just gonna, we're gonna tell Cleve, hey, we want some money. Let's see what it would be to vassalize. Just for fun. And that would be 25. It would actually be less to vassalize, but we're not going to do that either. What we're going to do is say, pay us money and help us get out of some of this debt. At least help us to reduce the debt that we're going to get into in this fight. Munster is now at war with Cologne also. Let's see who Munster's allies are. Munster is only allied with Liege. Okay, so we're not worried about that. Because as soon as we make Cologne a vassal, we are then going to be at war with Munster. So we're going to see if vassalizing will work now. And, ooh, let's see what else we can do other than vassalizing. Because vassalizing is going to give us a lot of enemies. And some of them, like, we'd have to wait several years. We'd have to wait like 5-6 years to get rid of some of these. So we may just not vassalize Cologne right now. Let's mothball some forts. Lüneburg wants to go against Verden, Denmark, and Saxe-Lüneburg. And we're going to decline, and we're going to lose a whole bunch of prestige for declining. And we're down 1 stability. We should probably fix that. So we're going to spend a little bit of our administrative monarch points to fix our stability. Because we really don't want to be unstable. So now we have mothballed that fort. We're going to mothball this fort. It's going to save us some money. And we're going to repay some loans. Decrease our army maintenance. And our expenses are still pretty high. We're going to wind up taking up some more loans, unfortunately. It's going to take a little bit for things to even out. And this is not going to help. All right, so we are going to wait. We have taken out a loan. It's going to last us a while, fortunately. We're going to just wait this out, and we're probably going to wind up getting some rebels over here eventually, but we're going to leave this fort mothballed until about the time that's going to happen, and then we're going to unmothball it so that we can more easily take care of those rebels without keeping our army maintenance high. Outgrow Cleves, and Trier is thinking about breaking an alliance with us. I don't know why. All right, probably because yeah, they want Colm, so they're gonna break their alliance with us, and we're gonna be kind of alone. All right, and Trier just broke their alliance with us. So right now, we have no alliances with anybody. That's kind of a dangerous position to be in, especially with some countries possibly wanting to be in a coalition against us. But we're going to stop this video at this point and tune back for the next installment of this game we're going to be playing through, and hopefully not having a coalition form against us, but we'll find out in the upcoming days. Thank you for joining me through our first 2 campaigns as Nassau. We have greatly expanded our borders already. We have Frankfurt, Berg, and Köln. And more excitement to come. Maybe watching me kick butt, or maybe watching me get mine kicked. Please return and watch more. Also check out my series on Conflict of Nations. I'm going to be doing more on that. I'm going to be doing a new campaign in Conflict of Nations. And so I'll see you next time. Thanks.